modified Nerf Longshot. I will go over the internal mods, the paint job, and then show you firing. Starting from the back, I added another spring for the primary spring, so it's shooting a little harder than in stock form. I don't actually know what spring I added, so I can't tell you that, but it's a fairly weak one. I also drilled out the air restrictor and enhanced the plunger head seal by adding a little bit of electrical tape underneath the O-ring. And I also relubricated that, of course, so the air seal in the back system is pretty clean. I also took out all of the mechanical locks throughout the system, so you can operate the blaster a little smoother than in stock form. It's not going to help you shoot any further, but it definitely helps you shoot a little bit faster and more comfortably. And I also relubricated everything that moves, the trigger, the catch, the bolt sled, and the dart tooth, pretty much everything in the whole internal system. And that's actually all of the internal modifications. The project goal for this whole thing was to make it look cool and shoot pretty much like an Elite blaster, just like my last tan long shot from a few weeks ago. Same project goal with a different paint job. Not really a modification, but I added a long strike barrel. This is still detachable. This could go on any other in-strike blaster, and a clear shot scope. This doesn't magnify or help you aim at all, and ironically it actually hurts your accuracy or ability to aim at all. Because the little plastic eyepiece in there distorts your image. So performance is on par with most Elite blasters, a little bit better, but really not much. To the paint job, I started with the black vinyl dye primer, and then all of the green is an OD green in the Krylon spray paint line. This is not a vinyl dye, so it doesn't feel quite as smooth as vinyl dye. But it definitely looks pretty cool. The brown you see in the magazine and some of these other components is in the same Krylon camouflage line, but it's the brown instead of the green. And the black you see is a Citadel brush black that's on top of the other paints. And the silver there is an enamel, just very small details to sort of accent the little bolts to make it look a little cooler. And I finished it up with a matte clear coat, of course. Pretty happy with the paint job. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm so familiar with vinyl dye and comfortable with vinyl dye that this just feels not quite as smooth to me, but it looks pretty cool. So this whole project goal is to make it look cool and shoot okay, so that sort of fits. Just a reminder, if you want to copy this paint job or paint anything dark or realistic, looking like a firearm, make sure you have a giant orange tip on the end of the blaster at all points. Even if you take your attachment off, you still need an orange tip. And make sure you don't bring it out in public, because this might be perceived as a firearm. It's a very dangerous situation. So make sure if you paint stuff like this, you're on private property, far away from the public eye, or in your basement playing Nerf guns. So I'll show you the blaster firing. "73, 71, 72, duplicate 72, duplicate 72, 74 feet per second. As I said, it's shooting a little bit harder than Elite blasters. Those are shooting 65 to 70 feet per second on average right now. Keep in mind the long shot in stock form is shooting like 50 to 55 feet per second, so much lower. This is a bumped up long shot, just it's not pushing close to the limits of a long shot because I wanted the draw weight to be very light. The spring back there is not very strong, so you can prime it very easily. Anybody can do it. And that was the project goal. So overall opinion on the project, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I definitely think it looks pretty cool. The performance is acceptable, and wasn't really expecting anything better than that. With the internal modifications, I sort of knew how it was going to turn out, but I'm pretty happy with the project. So that's the long shot. Thanks for watching. So this teal thing here is what we call the bolt sled. That's actually what goes into your bolt handle, this guy, and that's what primes the whole unit back, and then it compresses like this in order to reach the catch. I'm trying to get to details, but I have to scoot so freaking far back to get the whole thing in the frame. Giggity.